Welcome back to Nyan Koi, aka Meow Love Anime Review, episode Part 2. This I'm discussing 5 episodes instead of 4 because I watched 1 episode this morning. Yeah, the thing is with these 5 episodes, 3 of whom are in fact canon. Yes, 3 are. And that's 5, 6, and 9. Yep. 5 covers chapters 9 and 11, 6 covers chapters 12, 13, and 9 covers 8 and 14, though they kind of adapt these two things out of order. 7 and 8 are anime original episodes. Yeah, because they don't have anything from the manga. Yep. Now, mostly put what happens in these episodes. Like in episode 6, he meets twins. Yep, twins. He kind of meets one of them at the end of the first episode of these episodes, after he dealt with more cat wishes. Yeah, I had looked it up basically because I watched these last night, so I kind of forgot. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So basically, the first part of episode 5 is simply put that Nagi had basically invited Jinpei, well, to an amusement park, though he invites Kide and Mizuno, though she basically really wants to hook up Jinpei with his crush, which you gotta appreciate the fact that she basically, despite the fact she has feelings for him, she's going out of her way to hook up these two. Yeah, they go to the music park, and well, and this is so hilarious, the fact that, well, Kide basically just drags him along, and well, first she talks to him about his feelings for Mizo, and then she talks to him. Well, she talks to Mizo about her feelings, supposed feelings she has for Jinpei. Jinpei's had a thing for her ever since he first met her, and they try various ways basically to get these two together. Like, this is so hilarious. Like going on a Ferris wheel, sharing the same car together, where the thing jerks and he ends up almost falling right on top of her in the car. Look if he stops himself to a point where it looks like they're almost going to kiss, but it doesn't really happen. Nagi is like smiling, like, yay. Kitty is like, yeah, because she's also got feelings for him as well. Like, okay, yeah, it's confirmed that at this point, 3 women who got things for him. One of them is confirmed at the end of this episode. So, after they at the amusement park, which he thought was a complete disaster, Missouri, I think it was actually pretty fun. Yeah, and then the end of the episode, basically, Missouri follows Jinpei to a Buddhist temple where he talks to a cat and they meet Ari. And she's like, I know about your curse. And it's kind of hinted at that, well, Missouri might heard about some curse, but it's not really developed here, not until later on. And then, of course, at school is like, oh, you. And, of course, and it turns out we have another girl who looks exactly like the picture we met the previous day, except she's wearing a completely different uniform. Yeah, in the manga they wore the same exact outfit. My guess is the anime decided to give her a different color uniform, just so different. This is actually Komi, and the one he talked to was Ari. Komi's got a thing for him, and she refers to him as senpai. If you're curious to what the heck does senpai mean, it's someone basically who's a little bit older, who is basically someone who has a lot of respect for. It's respect for an older person. And of course, Ari tears up the love letter. She's like, stay away from my sister. And then later on, basically, they kind of confront each other at the temple where they reveal, yeah, they know about the curse, but they have countermeasures, basically, to make sure that nothing happens to them. And then, of course, Koei basically finds out what Ari did, trying to prevent her from hooking up with Jinpei. So she slaps her. Yeah, this does happen in manga too, but it's actually a little bit further away from Jinpei. She was with him, but still cares about their twins. And of course, they're basically tasked with helping out, like, they give them a task basically of helping out a particular cat that they know. Basically, have these two cats basically reconcile. When he comes, yeah, how he meets Ari is he comes across a black cat. It's like, oh crap, what are bad stuff gonna happen to me? Because a recurring gag for bad luck is come across a black cat, and it turns out this cat basically her and Tama were actually good friends until she started hanging out with another until he got like a lot more attention. So eventually, of course, well, after basically walk around the neighborhood for a while, Miso basically she's trying to tell Cat to be quiet so he can talk to Miso. Miso misunderstands it and runs away with her dogs. Yes, her dogs. She's got like 4 of them. And then later on, Kide finds out about the twins. In the manga, this doesn't happen. Yeah, basically Kide and Nagi basically, of course, Jinpei does apologize to her for yelling at her. She forgives him. And Nagi's like, oh, I love twins. So sick. Like, she basically is fawning over the twins because of synchronicity. And that ends episode 6. 7 and 8 are complete anime original stuff. Because I looked up, nothing happens these 2 episodes happen in the manga. Yeah. Because, well, it's found out more wishes stuff. 7 is a trip to Kyoto. Yep. Not the first series, basically, I come across where the characters go to Kyoto. As a matter of fact, they go to a balcony, which I'm like, man, this balcony looks very familiar. Oh, yes, it's the same place I saw in Case Closed, which came out several years after this. Yeah, the episode that they had a 2-part in Kyoto, in Case Closed, that came out like 8 years after this. Of course, I watched it just last year. Yeah, this is a recurring thing for some anime. Basically, when characters go to Kyoto and they go to this temple, it's like, oh, it was like falling to death thing. So he ends up helping a cat. Basically, well, he basically brought a cat with him to Kyoto because, yeah, because he wanted to get a trip there. And it turns out the reason why he was hiding over in Tokyo was because he was on the run from his wife because he cheated on his wife, who was a cat. And they run into another cat who he just happens to help out, and it turns out it's actually his one cat's son. And, well, Kaede Miso just happened to come across Nagi's home in Kyoto, which apparently is where the main family is situated. And it turns out the reason why they're there because, well, she has meetings to pick out her future husband, which she always declines because she's already picked out her future husband. It's actually Jinpei. This is why I think he's got a thing for Miso. Yep. Also, it's kind of hinted at in episode 5 that Kide starts to feel feelings for Jinpei. Though, despite the fact that Nagi is more of a muscular woman, I mean, no one points out, though, that Kide is also muscular. She's also she's also quite, let's just say, bigger in muscle than Miso is. Now, these two kind of remind me of Rangiku and Orihime from Bleach. How? Because Rangiku is similar to her in the fact they're both very muscular and they both got huge chests. Miso, because she's about the same size as Orihime and very shy around the main character. That's just my takeaway from it, despite the fact this series was coming out when Bleach was still coming out. So, in episode 8, oh yeah, 7 is a pretty fun episode. I don't mind episodes where they have characters go to Kyoto. There's not many I've come across. I'd say about 3 or 4. I'd say the only anime I can think of where you have characters going to Kyoto because this one in Case Closed is My Bride is a Mermaid. I think just that one I can think of besides this one. And I think they did it in My First Conference of Gal, but that's it I can think of for characters go to Kyoto. And episode 8 is simply put that we have, well, Jinpei help a cat basically catch Sparrow so he can impress another female cat he's got a thing for. And of course, half the time he keeps forgetting about her because Miso keeps distracting him. So, because he kept freaking forgetting about him, he's like, I'm gonna get back at you by stealing Miso's bra. Yep, and he tries to tell her later on that it was all a misunderstanding. It was a cat who stole her underwear or stole her bra. And believe it or not, there's actually truth to this because there's a witness. One of his friends actually saw a cat drag out a bra. He did not know it was Miso's bra, but he did see a cat drag out a bra. So Junpei was telling the truth, and Miso forgave him. Yep. Simple as that. Episode 9. Oh boy, this is a fun one. It's basically like the characters, pretty much most of the cast at this point. Going, with the exception of the twins do come in this episode too. And believe it or not, the mail carrier, Chozuko, she's actually not in the episode. So you always see frequent eye catchers of her, but she does not make a physical appearance in the episode. You're like, really? She doesn't? Oh yeah, she does appear in episode 8, but she appears very briefly. She doesn't do a lot of anything at all. So in the case of this one, it's the characters going to a swimming pool. Now, in the manga, they actually changed the name of this place to a different name. And also, their outfits are completely different because in the manga, this is during summertime. In the anime, it seems like it's during the wintertime. Yeah. So, like, everybody tries on the swimsuit. Now, most of what happens after everyone puts on the swimsuit, it's pretty accurate. Like, oh, you have Miso basically being commented by Junpei how great her swimsuit is. And of course, Kide wants Junpei to comment on her swimsuit. Though, he ends up kicking her. First kicks one of his friends in the pool. Then he kicks Junpei in the pool. Then they start playing around the pool. And then, of course, Aris's top basically just happens to come off. Yeah, somehow. I thought that was like, what? Yep, and Komi's like, oh, you can just play around with me anytime you want to because she's another woman who's got a thing for him. And then, of course, we also have someone running across the water. It's actually Nagi. Yep. And she's just one of her favorite things, groping Kide. So her response is to pull down the zipper of her suit, exposing part of her chest. Yep, and they start fighting, and then, of course, well, Kide accidentally knocks Miso into Junpei, who kind of hurts his nose. Though he ends up basically, just by sheer coincidence, helping another cat just to get outside. And they go outside despite the wearing of some suits. So they climb to the top, and, well, basically, of course, Junpei doesn't comment the fact that Junpei is actually, Kide is actually heavy. But I thought it was kind of hilarious. Now, this whole thing is taken from chapter 14. Now, what happens after this is kind of like what they did in episode number 3. Yeah, where they adapted chapters out of order. Where in episode 3, they adapted 10 first and 5. And in 9, it's simply 14 and 8. 8 is like the very next day. So, basically, Junpei is kind of cold. So, he has to stay home from school. And it's Kide, basically, who has to come over. Now, mostly what happens in this particular setup in the scene, it's pretty accurate to how it's back in the manga. I can't think of any changes. Well, they did make one small change here. A couple of changes. Well, for one thing, they changed the direction of where Junpei is lying on the couch. Because the way this couch is basically, is they look in front of it basically in the manga, he was facing on the right-hand side. In the anime, it's the left-hand side. Also, at one point, Kide tries to kiss him, and they don't show the blushing moment like do in the manga, but she ends up leaving afterwards. Though basically, he ends up convincing a fat cat to lose weight, thanks to the owner worried about him. That he misinterprets the owner as thinking about this cat losing weight because he basically thinks he mistreating her. Nope, it just basically worried about her. So after basically convincing, yeah, he goes on a diet. This fat cat goes on a diet. Yep. And of course, Junpei does apologize for some of the stuff he said during the previous episode. Also, Kide goes to Junpei's bedroom. It makes him the first female character to go in his bedroom who is not his sister or his mother. Which is like, wow, I've not been here for a long time. Well, they are childhood friends. She's probably been in his room before. And it's like, I wonder where it is. She never finds what she's looking for. What she's looking for? She's looking for a stuffed cat she gave Junpei when they were younger. As where it is, they don't really say where it is. And then she leaves, she makes some rice porridge. And of course, Junpei eats the rice porridge. He later washes the dishes. And of course, he does text her later. Says, thank you for the rice porridge, it was delicious. And they do add a little bit later on that when they go back to school. They talk briefly, Miso shows up, and that's the episode. I gotta say, pretty fun set episodes. And luckily enough, I think that for episodes 10 to 12, they're going to adapt a lot more of the manga. Though, how much further the manga? I'll find out when I get a chance to watch the episodes. Yep. So overall, in just 9 episodes, they've only adapted officially 14 chapters in just 9 episodes. I kind of get the reason why they had to do the animators up, because this manga is probably a monthly manga, and they probably don't want to catch the manga too quickly, so that's probably the reason why it's possible. That wasn't the first anime I come across where they kind of depths up a little bit out of order. They did this also for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. They did it for that series, where they depths on the chapters out of order. And, let's see, Velox Love, they kind of did the same thing too with that one. And they did it for several of the anime I watched, but not every single one. But there were several of them, basically, because this is sort of a slice of life type series, and I don't mind these type of shows. Though it's interesting, though, this is the first series I come across where there's a heavy focus on cats. Yep. Oh, so that's it for this particular review. So you have to do my reviews for One Piece, Boruto, My Hero Academia, which I know should be a new chapter released today. The final video for this series, because, well, there's only 12 episodes for this series. And possibly I might get a chance to do a Naruto review today. If not, well, I'll do it for tomorrow, okay? Produce next video. Bye.